Are we rolling?
I'm too tired to do the banter.
Megan, say that into the microphone, Megan.
No.
Megan just whispered, I'm too tired to do the banter. Okay.
Let's just jump in.
Folks, I guess we're not going to get any banter out of Megan on this one.
Straight to the point.
So, well, my name is Kirk, and my co-host is Megan.
This is the Self-Help Hangover podcast, and Kirk is my dad, and we talk about self-help books and the good things and the bad things.
And the ugly.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're trying to do critical analysis and not throw the baby out with the bathwater, right? Like,
Yeah.
what can we still get out of these? And we've been encouraged by our listener, sister, and daughter, Kate, to be more positive.
Yeah.
So we'll do our best, Kate. We will do our best.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so today we're going to talk about chapters 16 and 17. Chapter 16 is called Loosen Your Bone, Wilma. Now, I confess, when I read that and it wasn't explained really in the chapter, I had to Google it. I was afraid of what I would find.
What did you find?
That loosen your bone, Wilma, is like a famous phrase from the, what's that show with the cave people cartoons?
Oh,
Flintstones.
The Flintstones.
Yeah.
That at one point, maybe I should just read what Google AI says about loosen your bone, Wilma. It's a phrase originating from the Flintstones where Wilma's hair bone is too tight, but it's now used metaphorically to encourage someone to relax, let go of control, and create a fun, less anxious environment by surrendering to life's flow.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay, so loosen your bone, Wilma. Oh, this is when she talks about her trip to India. So, she went to India.
Yeah.
Do you remember anything about that?
This. I'm so sorry. Remind me what else happens.
Well, the chapter is not super long, but basically, she goes to a wedding, or she travels through India during wedding season. Okay, so, well, let's just say, back up here, and she says that your options when things are out of control, which is kind of how she experienced India. There was a lot of people, a lot of chaos. She says your options are 1, go with the flow and get to know your neighbor, or 2, grow a big fat stress related tumor. Okay, so those are your two options.
This reminds me of when you went to Italy and you got like a hematoma.
I did
something.
get a big fat stress-related tumor in Italy. Not a hematoma.
Okay,
A
I don't know what
lipoma.
they are. Okay. It's literally like the same word.
Hematoma. What is a hematoma? You know enough about.
Yeah, that's
health.
like a bump on your, like when you bump your head, right?
A hematoma is?
I think.
Could be. I was thinking it sounded like blood, but that was probably something else, like a blood clot.
I'll
A
have to look it
hematoma
up.
is a bruise on your head.
I'm pretty
a
sure
bump
it's
on
like
your
when
head.
you like hit your head and you get, it's like a goose egg, right? I think.
A goose egg.
I think.
Brian, can you fact check that? we need some pretty rudimentary fact checking here. I did get a lipoma. I was a missionary, and one of the other elders came up behind me and was like, doing a little, elder massage on my shoulder. And he's like, what is going on here? I had this giant like bump over my clavicle, and it grew to like a grapefruit size. It got
Wow.
huge.
That's so scary.
And it was a lipoma, and I ended up going to the doctor, having an operation. I have a giant scar to prove it. We'll post photos of me with my shirt off on the Patreon. Just kidding, we won't. But and then what else? Oh, one of the elders in my he wasn't my companion, but was in our apartment. He was a cook, a chef, a baker, and he baked me a cake that said Lipoma Man on it, and it had like this kind of grapefruit sized ball of
gross.
cake on it, on top of the rest of the cake.
That
If I can find that photo, I'll post it. Anyway, all that to say that, that I fulfilled Jen Sincero's second option here.
A hematoma is a localized collection of blood that pools outside of blood vessels, similar to a bruise. It can occur anywhere in the body, internally or externally, and is usually caused by a broken blood vessel from injury or surgery. So it's just like
it's the same as
bruise.
a goose. Isn't it the same as a goose egg?
It doesn't look like a goose egg. It looks like a big bruise.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so it's not like a blood clot or anything.
It's just blood.
Okay, well, now we know the difference between a hematoma and a lipoma. Only one of those can be compared to a big, fat, stress-related tumor. So, anyway, okay, so she goes on. Here's the thing that I think is... I'm going to be frank. In this chapter and in the next chapter, she just says a couple things that really betray kind of a lack of cultural sensitivity, maybe coming from a place of privilege. So the first one is in this chapter. She says, and I quote, "I didn't have to darken the doorway of an ashram, or stick a red dot on my forehead, or partake in any of the other thousands of spiritual options that India is famous for offering. ... Who needs them? ? As far as I'm concerned, you can learn pretty much everything you need to know about spirituality and life by taking a 12-hour bus ride through India during wedding season."
So, yeah, that's really interesting.
That is one of the dumbest things I've ever read. Okay.
It's very,
I get it. You had this, you learned a lot. You took some serious life lessons from this short experience in India. But to dismiss
yeah,
an immense, like an unending possibility of experience and religion and spirituality and tradition and all of that and say, who needs those things? Well, isn't India the most populous country in the world?
yeah,
They need those things, right?
Yeah.
And it's just so crazy that she wrote that. Anyway.
That is crazy.
All right, we'll move on from that, Jen. So yes, she rode through India during wedding season and took some lessons from that. She talks about all of the different people she met. There was a holy man that was kind of warming up a crowd. She spent the next 2 hours wandering through temples, seeing all these sights. And it was way different than any experience she'd had up to that point, right, in the U.S., where she's from. Okay, so I think we can skip to the end of the chapter, which is very, very short. Here, she says, here's what India taught me about tapping into the mother lode. 1, talk to strangers. We're all family on this planet. 2, expect and enjoy the unexpected. 3, find the humor. 4, join the party. 5, live in the moment. 6, time spent enjoying yourself is never time wasted. 7, share your space. 8, loosen your bone, Wilma. And then she ends the chapter with love yourself. So, yeah, I mean, those are good lessons to take away from India. And also, if we spent more time in India, I'm sure there'd be more lessons.
Yeah.
Right?
She's like, this is all you need to know.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's just a rhetorical flourish. It's part of the flippant style, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't know. It's just awful. This is one case in where her style just was like awful. Any thoughts though about this chapter, loosening your bone?
Not really at the moment. Nothing I can think of.
I do think just being present, letting life take you in its flow is a useful tool. It's a useful approach. It's good. It's a good to practice mindfulness. And sometimes flow can take you into like financial success or the things that you want. And also there's a bit of that is in conflict, not necessarily, but it can come in conflict with the idea of changing everything, like self, like auto-suggesting yourself into a different reality. Because you're trying to change the flow, right?
Yeah.
I don't think those are necessarily in conflict with each other, but I just think it's worth noting that letting life sweep you up is different than moving the stream that you're in. But I think you can kind of try to direct the stream that pulls you, and that's one way maybe to look at it. I don't know. What are your thoughts around that, Maegan?
Yeah, I mean, sorry, I'm like so tired. I can't even like think of like a thought, but I agree with everything you're saying.
Do we need to do like a quick ice, what do you call that?
Bath.
Ice bath?
Maybe.
Dunk Maegan's head
I
in
told
ice.
him I didn't want to record another one today, but just kidding. Cut that out.
I'll take ownership of that, Maegan. Do you want to stop right now?
No, it's okay.
Okay. Yes, Brian and I, we urged Maegan to record another episode. Right? It's true. All right. Okay, so that said, let's move on to the next chapter. Chapter 17. It's so easy once you figure out it isn't hard. And she quotes Albert Einstein, reality is merely an illusion, albeit a very persistent one. Reality is merely an illusion, albeit a very persistent one.
I'm trying to think, like, what I think about that. So reality is an illusion, albeit a persistent one.
It makes me think of the movie that I want to review on this podcast, The Matrix.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Maybe we'll get to that soon.
Yeah, maybe that can be our next thing.
This book is taking longer than I
I
expected.
know, yeah. Especially with us doing 2 chapters a time. I thought we would be flying through
They
it.
are short chapters.
Yeah.
Yeah, how many chapters are there? Do you remember how many chapters there were in Think and Grow Rich?
No, but we were only doing like one.
It was like 13 or something, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So this book has
Something like that.
26 chapters. So that's the same number of episodes as Think and Grow Rich if we double.
Oh,
up
wow.
on this
Okay. Yeah.
one. All right. So she talks about that many of us live our lives like a bird. A bird came flying in the window and was trying to get out. Was hitting the window, freaking out, harming itself in the process. When all it needed to do was chill out and let the lady, aka Jen Sincero, in a bathrobe, ease it over to the opened part of the window.
Yeah.
Is that how we are?
Maybe sometimes. I'm trying to think if I feel like I'm that way. I think maybe there's something to be said about trying to... I feel like sometimes I try to force things to happen so hard, and I think that that's not really a good way for me to do things. So sometimes if I just kind of relax and just chill out and kind of let like nature take its course a little bit more, that's a better way for me to do things.
So like letting us do one more recorded episode today.
That is exactly.
Is that where you're going with that?
Hi, my name is Curtis Biggs. I'm a trombonist and a composer of contemporary art music, and I teach the low brass studio at Snow College in Utah. I just released a new album of all original music called Wind Meditations. In this album, I use the trombone in creative ways you have likely never heard before to create atmospheric soundscapes. You'll hear me divert the air out of an attached tube instead of the bell to create haunting, distant melodies. I play the bell section of the trombone without the slide attached to create the T-horn, sounding something like a cross between a French horn and euphonium. I use multiphonics, singing through the instrument while playing, in combination with the wah-wah mute to make a sound reminiscent of overtone singing. And in the title track, I use a combination of techniques, including circular breathing, playing a continuous drone while I sing a melody I heard in the wind while driving through Utah's Echo Canyon. Wind Meditations by Curtis Biggs is available on all streaming and download platforms, and is also available for download at curtistrombone.com. You can read more about all these pieces and find links to the album on my website as well. That's curtistrombone.com. You can also find me on Instagram and YouTube at Curtis Trombone. I'm a member of the American Composers Alliance, and my published scores are available at composers.com.
Okay, well, let's see. She says, it made me think of the way so many of us live our lives. We can see what we want and nearly kill ourselves trying to get it in a way that's not working. Okay. She talks about taking a minute to just look around the room. How many red things? Count the red things in the room. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now stop. Look back at this page without taking your eyes off it and try to think of everything around you that's yellow. There's probably a ton of yellow, but you didn't see it because you were looking for red. Do you know what that reminds me of?
What?
On the game.
On the murder mystery trivia.
game. Murder trivia. What's it called? It's a
Murder
Jackbox
trivia
game.
party.
Murder trivia party?
Or is that what it's called?
It doesn't feel like a party.
Or murder mystery trivia or something?
Murder trivia.
Mystery. I think it's just murder trivia.
Isn't it murder trivia
trivia.
party? I can't remember.
Have a party. It may or may
That
not.
seems, I don't know. Murder trivia. It's a murder trivia game on Jackbox. And there's this game where they put up 6 cards. And it's usually a combination of different weapons, different
and
colors.
I think it's just weapons and colors.
Is that it?
Yeah, it's just weapons and colors.
Really?
Yeah.
There's not a third thing?
No.
So it might be like green, yellow, blue, blue, green, yellow.
Yeah.
And then it might be like gun,
Grenade,
grenade, sword,
dagger or
dagger.
something.
And then and then it says, look at it quickly. And then you have to say, and then it says, okay, tell me the order of the colors.
Yeah, you have to either tell them the order of the colors or the weapons. So it's
You have
like
to memorize.
whatever you focused on, hopefully is the right one. Although I always try to memorize both of them.
And then also, yeah, I do too.
Okay.
And then it's also like when you get a new car, suddenly that car's everywhere. You see that car everywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
So is that what our life is like in terms of trying to get to success?
I think it is like that.
Is it the same as not noticing other parts?
I think in a way, yeah. Like I think sometimes you try to focus on getting from A to B one way, and sometimes there's a different way that's maybe better for you to do that, for sure. Sometimes I feel like we try to force ourselves to do exactly what other people are doing in a way. And that's when I kind of find myself feeling like I'm trying to force something. And I think sometimes you just have to do it your own way, in the way that feels good to you. And sometimes you just got to get creative with it, maybe.
Okay. I mean, I do think that there are structural and systemic things that come into play as well. Like, let's say one of the ways that we can see some of the other colors in the room, so to speak, is if we can hire somebody that can point those colors out to us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like an accountant, if I have an accountant that can help me make the most of my funds, and or if I have a financial planner, if I've got an attorney, or if I've got coaches in any number of things, they can help us see those colors.
Yeah.
Sometimes that kind of support can be out of reach for some people. But I also really appreciate services. Like sometimes universities and colleges will have free services for their students coming up, scholarships and free classes on how to do things. Communities sometimes will offer free classes. Love those kinds of programs because they can help us see those other colors in the room.
Yeah.
Okay, so she talks about, do I talk about this or not? Just one other little thing. She talks about how inspiring Ray Charles is. And when she talks about his background, where he came from, it kind of insinuates a little bit that coming from the, quote, colored part of town, unquote, is one of his disadvantages.
Oh, really?
And so
that's interesting.
I think it would be, I don't know.
Worded
I don't want to
differently.
dwell on that, but point it out quickly. Maybe we can move on from that. Chapter 1, recommendation 1. Become aware of what your stories are. What do you say? I always, or I never, I can't, I should. Remember Mom used to, I think we've talked about this. She had a rule where you
we had
say,
a should, it was called a should jar. Or wait, no, it was called a can't jar.
Yeah.
So if you said the word can't, you had to put like money in there.
And that's why Mom and I are rich today.
They've made so much off that jar.
Yeah. Yes. No, but here's an example. I often hear artists say, you can't sell art in Utah. And I think that's a limiting belief, a limiting story, right?
Yeah.
Because there are people buying money or buying art in Utah and at good prices. And also there are Utah artists that are selling well outside of Utah, so that's another viable option. So it's a little bit it's easy to kind of just put that story out there as something that's a good reason why I'm not making progress as an artist, you know. So it's limiting in that way. Second thing, become aware of what stories become aware of what you're gaining from your stories. So, for example, if the example is the story is you can't sell art in Utah, then maybe what I'm gaining from telling myself that story is that it's okay that I'm not finding success as an artist.
Yeah,
You
it
know,
kind of justifies it
It
a little bit in your
justifies
head.
me letting go of that dream as a possibility in order to pursue something more practical. Or
Yeah.
third recommendation, get rid of your stories. I get what she's saying here. Eliminate those bad things that you're telling, get rid of that you can't sell art in Utah idea. 4, get a move on. So you start acting, towards your new belief, right?
Yeah.
And then 5, get out of your routine. That helps to, if you're, to continue with that same example, attending, if you're going to, like, I don't know, just places that are not selling artwork, then that might reinforce the belief. But if you change, like maybe you go to visit a prestigious gallery or something in Utah, that might help change your belief. It might change your routine.
Yeah.
Maybe even get a job there and you see the inside workings.
Yeah,
of a
and be
gallery
there
like
all
that.
the time.
6, sidestep the spiral. Basically, we create patterns, right? And sometimes those patterns of thought lead us in a downward spiral, and we don't have to be in that spiral necessarily. We don't have to follow it all the way down to the depths every time. I think that's what she's saying there. And then 7, love yourself. Surprise. So, any thoughts about that chapter, Megan?
Not.
It's so easy once you figure out it isn't hard, is the title of the chapter.
Man, I can't really think of any thoughts right now. Do you have any other thoughts?
It's like 45 minutes past your thinking
It's
time.
6:40.
My thoughts are that it is still hard.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's always hard.
So the idea that you're going to make a few changes to your thinking and that the struggle is going to disappear, maybe that's not what she's saying, but it would be easy to kind of take that away, or have that takeaway. And I think that struggle is part of the journey, and that it happens at every level if you're continuing to progress. But it sure helps to see that it's possible and to have support.
Yeah.
If you have a vision, if you have support around you, if you've got resources and people to fall back on, or even just when you're up against a wall and you feel like giving up, knowing that you can continue and get beyond current obstacles is very valuable. And some people don't have those things.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I think part of the goal would be to provide those things to as many people as possible. And if you're in a situation like that where you don't have any of those things, that you'd reach out and hopefully be received by people who can help provide those things for you in your life.
Yeah.
Those are my thoughts, but it's getting late.
Well, that's amazing. Sorry, I barely talked this episode. I feel like bad, but
Maegan.
it was kind of fast, like just shorter
We
chapters.
We cruised through it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Any closing thoughts? This can be a short
episode. Okay.
How long have we been going, Brian?
28 minutes.
28 minutes.
Well, 28 minutes. That's not too shabby.
It's not bad.
So, loosen your bone, Wilma, and be, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Like when you are in the thick of struggles, you know, I think poverty is, it is a sort of violence. Like there is, I don't know. All I know is that when I would come out of the dentist's office and my mom was stressed out of her brains, you know, that affected me. You know, it affected me living in a little house shared with 10 people, looking up at the bench right above me at my friends' houses that were giant, and there were 3 kids in their family. And yet we had food, even though we were like sometimes grinding our own wheat and making bread from scratch, and we were bottling our own fruit from our backyard, and my parents told me not to put so much peanut butter on my bread, you know.
Yeah.
We had food, and we had music lessons, you know.
Yeah.
And for me, that turned into art lessons. So my parents did what they could to give us opportunities, and I understand only to the extent that I lived a less privileged life than many of the people that I was looking at up on the bench, that there is opportunity out there, and some of us are lucky enough to be able to take advantage of those opportunities. And I think one of the best things that we can do if we have those opportunities is to pass them on to the people around us. So I hope to be able to do that. All right, Maegan, your eyes are drooping. I think you're sliding off your chair over there.
Oh, no.
Well, any final words for our listening audience today?
Thank you so much for listening, and yeah, like, rate, and subscribe our podcast, and yeah, thank you so much, and we'll talk to you next time.
Okay, good night, folks.